My very first ECW wrestling show was September 30th, 1992 at the Chestnut Cabaret, which is 38th and Chestnut. How I first learned about this show was, I believe, on the billboard, which is a sign outside promoting what shows or what events would be inside this small cabaret. It's a nightclub. The billboard was, I would say, similar to what the Philadelphia Civic Center had. It was a lot of arenas had, a lot of buildings promoting their next shows. And I saw ECW wrestling there. And when I think, yeah, there was Chili's restaurant on the same property, and at the Wizards nightclub, it was a strip club. We knew the owner. I really knew the owner when I noticed it was the Wizards nightclub, which is a downstairs. It was like in a basement nightclub or strip club. I knew the stairway downward, and the Chestnut Cabaret would be on the far right side. It would be on 38th Street, and the Wizards nightclub strip club would be on Chestnut side. And since I knew about that place, the reason I knew about the strip club is because we helped construct it, and I worked for a real estate company in West Philadelphia, the maintenance division, and the general manager of the real estate company. He had a cousin who owned the entire property, the entire building or the complex. So it was a small complex, but it had a Chestnut Cabaret. He owned the entire property that sustained all three: the Chili's restaurant, Chestnut Cabaret, and Wizards nightclub. He owned the entire thing. And when I told my father that there's a wrestling show at Chestnut Cabaret, and he says, that's an adult nightclub. He says, yeah, so. Then he talked to the general manager. We were all close friends, like family, and he called up his cousin who owned the property. Would you let 1992. I would have been 21. Yeah, I think I'd be 20. Yeah, 21. 1991. I've been 20 years old. So 1992. Yes, I've been 21 years old. I would have been legally be allowed. Now, my younger brother was, on the other hand, the question, and the general manager, he called up his cousin and said, "Can I have a co-worker who is of age, but he has a younger brother. They want to go to have a wrestling show in the Chestnut Cabaret." He said, "Oh, no problem." And our names were put aside. We were given tickets. The tickets were put aside, but we were going to be allowed in practically for free. Now, I brought up ProWrestlingHistory.com. I was recording this, looking at the show. It drew 220 patrons, wrestling fans. And here's a strange thing that it's unusual for any wrestling show. It opened up with a battle royal. Mostly that would be in the main, kind of like the main event. I believe it was a WrestleMania 4. Can't remember off the top of my head. The battle royal that ended between Bad News Brown and Bret Hart, and that show opened up with a battle royal. It's unusual for any wrestling show to open with a battle royal. They opened a battle royal with Mr. Sandman, and at the time, Sandman was doing his beach gimmick, which he always hated. He's always known for hating it. He hated the outfit. He had the surfboard, and he took on a kind of a hard rock. I'm not sure how to describe Glenn Osborne, but they both were the last two to survive the battle royal, and it was going to be for the held up ECW television title. Now, the next on the show, the Masked, now the sequence of the matches that would take place, how these matches took place were, I said a battle royal to open up a show is weird. This gets weirder for the September 30th show. The sequence of how each were eliminated is how the matches were scheduled to take place as we watched it as fans. All these matches were pertaining everybody in the battle royal and how they were eliminated. Now, how they were eliminated first, or ending, that I don't remember. It's been a long, long time. But it was the tag team, the Super Destroyers. I ended up in a double count out. Max Thrasher, pinned Kodiak Bear. Tony Hitman Stetson beat the Anchor. Tommy Iron Man Cairo battled JT Smith to a double disqualification. Apparently, no contest. As it used to be always called a double disqualification. Both wrestlers were disqualified, and later on, something like that kind of a result during it became a no contest. Easy Rider, again, a double disqualification with HD Rider. Apparently, they were a tag team. Mr. X, it was Rockin' Rebel under a mask. Mr. X beat Jimmy Jannetty by countout. Terry Taylor beat Larry Winters. And then I guess it was the last two of the Battle Royal. They returned, and it was Glenn Osborne pinned the Sandman, Mr. Sandman, to win the vacant ECW TV title. And the main event was Don Morocco pinned ECW Heavyweight Champion Jimmy Superfly Snuka. One thing I can't remember which match it was, but it was some match that something was wrong, something was going on, I guess illegally or hair pulling, something like that. The referee sometimes would look at the fans, did he do this? And they were cheering, yeah. Well, he pointed toward my brother and I. And I don't know why. I wasn't paying attention to that moment. The referee was asking, did he do this or not? And he's pointing toward us. I remember it so well, so vividly. I was saying, I wasn't paying attention. I'm paying attention to the match, but I didn't pay attention to what the referee was asking. Was it hair pulling or something illegal? I don't know. I can't remember particularly what he was asking about, but I remember the referee was pointing to my brother and I. But that was the very first ECW show, and I think I went to one more show in 1990. I think it was later somewhere. It was I have to look up my history. I know I went to a second show, but the surviving ticket I have of the Chestnut Cabaret September 30th, 1992. I just sold it. Selling some things that I just really don't speak about what are my reasons, but I just sold a ticket, and I wanted to do a audio look back at this show. And I remember most of it, how I found out about the show, the ticket, some things that went on during the show, but it was so close by. I lived at 4400 Spruce in West Philly, University City, and it was just a few blocks from where I worked, where I lived. It was so close, where they later on in May 1993, they had the ECW Arena, the warehouse down at Rittner and Swanson. I had to take a bike ride, not too far away. But I wanted to talk about this first show, September 30th, 1992, and I had a surviving ticket. After all these years, it was an Eastern Championship Wrestling show, not Extreme, which wouldn't happen until August 1994. So I said, this is a look back at the early years, the first year, 1992, of Eastern Championship Wrestling in my first show at the Chestnut Cabaret.